Picture a Friday the 13th like slasher film where the perspective of the narrative is all from Jason's point of view. So, is this movie worth the watch? Let's get started on my review for In a Violent Nature. Let's go. What's going on all my Flixers? This is JC from JC Flix, and I just got back from seeing an early screening of In a Violent Nature. Now, before I do get started with my review, please note this will be a spoiler-free review, just in case you have not seen the movie yet, or if you're planning to see it in theaters this weekend. Also, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on more movies that I'm reviewing just like this. So, In a Violent Nature stars Ryan Barrett, Andrea Pavlovich, Cameron Love, and more. When a group of teens takes a locket from a collapsed fire tower in the woods, they unwittingly resurrect the rotting corpse of Johnny, a vengeful spirit that's keen on taking out anyone who took the locket and methodically slaughtering anyone who gets in his way. One of the most compelling characters in movies is the one who goes about their day just kind of living out their routine. What if that principle was applied to a slasher movie, told from the perspective of the slasher, and he kind of resembles Jason a little bit? That's the premise of In a Violent Nature. Nash, who also penned the script, treats genre conventions with respect while demanding patience from the audience, guiding them through a slow-paced journey akin to following a killer reminiscent of Jason Voorhees. The gruesome original kills make the slow build-up worthwhile if you can handle some of the kills. The film follows the killer, Johnny, as he methodically stalks his victims through the woods. Nash frequently uses lingering shots to emphasize Johnny's methodical nature, portraying him as a workman-like figure driven by a singular, gruesome purpose. This technique challenges the audience but effectively establishes Johnny's relentless determination. Now, of course, as you can imagine, Johnny cuts through a series of victims who are largely underdeveloped characters. They serve as one-dimensional figures that the audience isn't meant to really care about. It's more for the action in that purpose. Though out of all the characters, the exception is Chris, played by Andrea Pavlovich, a final girl archetype who shows her smarts by fleeing when things turn bloody. While we eventually learn a bit more about Johnny, the film doesn't dwell on character development. The primary purpose of this film is for the bloody kills and the pure essence of a slasher film. I mean, why else would you go to see this movie? This approach has proven effective in the past, especially in like the original Halloween, bringing it back to such slashers as that, as you guys can see, and these horror figures. I'm definitely a big fan of such slasher films as Halloween, Friday the 13th, Scream, all of those, right? Even Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But what Michael Myers was known for back in the day was the Shape, an unstoppable, emotionless killing machine representing pure evil. And it wasn't until we got the sequels that more of his backstory was revealed. In a Violent Nature echoes this formula, focusing on the terror and the kills rather than the intricacies of the killer's history, which I did appreciate while I was watching this film. Though this does bring me to the negatives. Although I do like when a film takes its time with certain characters to build them out, and especially in horror films when the director or writer takes their time before we're introduced to these bloody kills. I know it may not be for everyone when it's slow in pace until you get to those bloody kills. Throughout this movie, we do spend a large portion of this film following the killer just walking around, and sometimes it may be a little too slow for viewers. Another negative that I wasn't crazy about was that this ending does end briefly and unexpectedly, that some may not like as well. Another thing that I will say without giving too many spoilers away is that you do get the unmasking of the killer, and it does kind of take away from the dread and even the terror within this movie, but nonetheless, it still didn't take me out of the film or the experience. Now, with all that being said, you guys, I've been waiting for this film throughout most of the beginning of this year, and it still managed to get my attention, and it still managed to really satisfy my urge when it came to slasher films. So I'm gonna give In a Violent Nature 3.5 flames out of 5 and a pretty fire rating.
It's nice.
Although this film isn't great and does have its small flaws, it is still worth the watch, and I still recommend it to all the horror fans out there, especially within the slasher subgenre of horror. Alright guys, so are you looking forward to seeing this film this weekend, or have you seen this film in theaters yet, depending on when you're watching this? If so, what did you think of the film overall? Also, who is your favorite slasher of all time? Mine personally has to be Michael Myers, although I do have some kind of love for every single slasher, most of them as you can see behind me. But please let me know in the comments below. Last thing before I do go, you guys, please make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date. My name's JC from JC Flicks, and until next time, I'm out.